This is a big win for immigrant advocates in Chicago. The ruling finding ICE is conducting illegal arrests in violation of a consent decree that limits warrantless arrests in the Chicago area of responsibility. That includes Illinois and 5 neighboring states. Collateral arrests, or people arrested while ICE is out patrolling the city, have been a major part of Operation Midway Blitz, and now a federal judge has imposed new restrictions on agents. Attorneys with the National Immigrant Justice Center in Chicago say the number of warrantless arrests in just the past 2 weeks have skyrocketed. Their case against ICE, starting with 26 people, now up to at least 200.
What we have seen now on a much larger scale is federal agents indiscriminately stopping and arresting individuals without warrants.
A family scooped up at the bean late last month. Collateral warrantless arrest during a raid at a home in Elgin, with Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem present, posting this video on social media.
He actually had his work permit to be working here legally.
Alliance father Abel Orozco picked up earlier this year. ICE reports reviewed by the I-team confirming agents did not have a warrant, instead creating one after taking him into custody.
My father was the main breadwinner of the family, so having him gone, it's hard.
All examples of what U.S. District Judge Jeffrey Cummings ruled is an ongoing pattern of ICE violating the terms of a consent decree. NIJC attorneys successfully arguing agents produced no warrants, civil or criminal, for the arrests. Cummings taking particular issue with instructions to ICE agents to carry blank I-200 forms, civil immigration warrants, on their person in the field to fill them out on the spot, calling ICE's arguments it can do so lawfully meritless.
If they made a warrantless arrest, they need to justify and document the specific information.
Under the federal consent decree with ICE, to arrest someone with or without a warrant, ICE agents are required to meet 2 criteria. Is there probable cause to believe someone is in the U.S. illegally, and are they also a flight risk?
I find it very interesting that they would talk about a person being a flight risk who's in a country illegally. How the hell can you not be a flight risk? Anybody who gets arrested should not be released on their own recognizance just for the fact of the reason they're being arrested, for crossing a border illegally. That doesn't make any sense, and he sounds like a very patient man when people do stuff like that, and it doesn't make any sense. It's illegal. It breaks the law. The coalition of the media, basically the American public, the Democratic side of things, and our politicians, and a lot of them being African American, black, whatever you want to call them, Negro politicians. Now, explain to me how that benefits their constituents. Dumping a busload of illegal immigrants into any of these communities and splitting their resources or taking from their end. Everybody keeps saying, no, it's not taken from the river. Where's this money coming from? And why are these school districts complaining when 30% of their kids aren't showing up? Because 30% of their kids are coming from the homes of illegal immigrants. That is a significant number. And it has to be dealt with better than just opening up the door and dumping them in cities like Biden did. And this is the response, which is way off the mark. This is not a good response, but it wasn't a good act to begin with. Everyone wants to act like illegal immigrants coming into the country and taking jobs and getting jobs and being exploited and all those other things are just okay. It's just the way we roll. No, it ain't. And if it is, we need to stop, because it seems to be down to our core that this is the group right now that they choose to do what they got to do to make the ends meet. And illegal immigrants have a dog in the fight, and they will benefit, but they are still being exploited. They make no mistake in that regard.
ICE agents to carry blank I-200 forms, civil immigration warrants, on their person in the field to fill them out on the spot, calling ICE's arguments it can do so lawfully meritless.
If they made a warrantless arrest, they need to justify and document the specific information.
Under the federal consent decree with ICE, to arrest someone with or without a warrant, ICE agents are required to meet 2 criteria. Is there probable cause to believe someone is in the U.S. illegally, and are they also a flight risk?
Well, if they're in the United States illegally and you don't find that out in short order, then they're a flight risk. We don't have proper documentation on this individual to be releasing them back into our community and then find out later that we made a mistake because you aren't able to contact them when you try to, or that they offended and hurt someone or committed a crime that was of significance. But even if it wasn't, if they just go to 99-cent stores and steal gum, that's too much. 99-cent stores aren't in business for people to just come in and take shit. So, and no matter what level of crime, because I don't want to get into, the severity, or the desperation of these people coming in here. There's a lot of factors that go into those things on every level and in every race. So, just to keep it straight, as far as black popcorn go, follow the law. If the law says you have to be a citizen of the United States to be here permanently, that's what it is. And if people feel it's inhumane to follow the laws of the United States, then they're not Democrats or Republicans, and they are not a part of what we're trying to do here in the United States, in my opinion. They would rather go with where their hearts are taking them as opposed to what the laws are demanding of them.
ABC 7 chief legal analyst Gil Sofer says the government is likely to appeal the ruling.
Well, we'll see if it changes operations on the ground. He's certainly sending a shot across the bow, and that, if it's going to be abided by, that's going to slow things down and really impose rigor around the process.
Immigrant advocates intensely emotional over the result.
To our Black and brown people and immigrants, it does not always seem to be that this earth wants us, but we want us, and that can be enough.
Now, the Department of Homeland Security said in a statement to the I-Team, quote, DHS complies with all lawful court orders and is addressing this matter with the court. NIJC says it will seek the release of hundreds of people they claim were unlawfully arrested.
And I hope that those people that they're considering releasing weren't unlawfully in the country, because if they were unlawfully in the country and you guys are willing to turn your head and allow this to exist, then you have to absolutely have some leniency when it comes to the rest of the citizens in this country. They deserve that same kind of attention, that same heartfelt understanding that you're willing to look the other way and realize the greater good is to make sure that that person goes home to their family and that that person is able to be free to provide for their family, and that we provide schools and education for their children so they can grow up and take care of their families and have education and get jobs and careers. Doesn't that sound like something that some other group of folks, us, have been asking for decades? And all of a sudden, bow! It's just like at the top of the list of shit we have to do right now is straighten out these illegal immigrants so that they can get back to work and continue canning the goods and picking the goods and cleaning the goods just to keep this economy running, because they leaned too heavily on slave type wages and it didn't work out for the lower half of the citizens. It didn't work out. You can't afford an apartment and work for these minimum wages. So, and the government is fine with just keeping it pushing. For damn sure the Democrats are, and the Republicans as well. Trump come in here and is upsetting some shit by even questioning what they had rolling so smoothly. They're thinking, what is wrong with him? He's taking advantage of it too. This free, low wage, if you kill one of them or injure them or maim them, you just send them out of here because they really know they have no recourse. They don't even think about it. It's just a risk they take to work for you. And they come in that factory, they come in there to work, they want to do a good job, and their life could be at risk. Their extremities and going home with all their faculties and everything isn't guaranteed the way that this country is playing with these people's lives. And I'm not an advocate for illegal immigrants, but I am an advocate for being fair and being right. And them sneaking into the country and then being able to come in here and prosper and just shoot off into the United States and write a wonderful story about the American dream and how they experienced it. And you got people who've been here since as long as some of us can remember through our ancestry, and we can't get that kind of attention. We can't draw that kind of a crowd out there pulling and tugging and fighting for us and saying, come on, man, you know, are we the only ones who'll fight for ourselves, but we're expected to help and fight for others? Who's fighting for us?
All right.
A lot to come out of that.
Just sticking with exactly what the law says here.
Absolutely. And
A lot of times you get, where'd that shit go? Hold on. I got all this paperwork that I've been downloading on it, and I ain't said or thought about any of this junk because you know what? I'm gonna keep it real. None of that don't mean anything because they can tell you that your birth rates have risen, by 1.8%, or that unemployment in the black community is down 0.5%. That still makes you the highest, but it's just down from what it was by 0.5%. They like the numbers because the numbers speak positively to them, but we don't feel much of that. If somebody tells you that your food prices went down by 8% this year, or your gas prices went down by 4% or went up by 4%, it's either a lot or it ain't. And those numbers mean something to them because then they convert it into votes and reasons to vote. Hey, he's got those numbers moving in the right direction. Well, if you leave him alone, it'll take 40 years before we really feel an impact the way this shit goes. And that's all good. It's just that we shouldn't be fooled and duped into this and having ICE in our communities and communities that we share with Hispanics to rid us of these illegal immigrants that Biden is largely responsible for this last wave coming in. And now everybody has talking points to say things like, hey, we just want to let them have regular homes and their kids have education and the access to food and clean water and all of these things. And who wouldn't want that? Would you consider and be a Scrooge or an asshole or a devil and just say, oh, no, they don't deserve? I'm not saying what anybody deserves or doesn't deserve, but that does not qualify them to break the laws of a nation, any nation. If you come in there and you have gotten in there by means other than legal ones, then it is what it is when the law catches up with you. And we can't start talking about how long people been in the country when we're not even willing to just say, okay, the people who just came in under this Biden thing that he did, opening up the floodgates, just get them out. Would those people raise their hand and leave and say, hey, you guys who've been here 7, 8, 9, 20 years, okay. But don't just let them stay. Make that shit right. And make black people walking around being chased down by the police not be acceptable. Understand that we can't even stand near a police officer when he's doing his work. I'm seeing videotape of people standing right next to the police officers and saying, don't touch them. Oh no, you can't do that. You shouldn't do that. And you're thinking like, wow, these people are brave. Because I wouldn't go near a police officer while he's got it. I mean, and you got a brother down on the ground, and you would love more than nothing else to just push him off of him and be like, man, stop. Knowing that they might gotta get up and fight you. They might hit you with something. Nah, they might shoot you. They might say that you threatened their life. You interrupted an arrest and they felt threatened and shoot you. And the tape will show you pushing a cop off of a person. Right or wrong, don't matter no more. You put yourself in a position and got killed, and other people don't even have to think about that. They get to really follow their natural response and their natural reaction and jump in there and try to help somebody and save a life or stop a situation that's unjust physically and immediately. So later, you don't end up in a courtroom saying, yeah, man, he choked him out and I just stood there and watched. Well, why didn't you help? Because I took a step toward him and his partner pulled the gun out and was like, get back. And I was like, jeez, I got back. You know, that's the kind of shit we had to think about. Something is definitely wrong. It's okay for us to be undereducated if we even go to school at all. The eggs are all being put in the illegal immigrant cart right now. We see it. We know. But we have to fight for ourselves. That's why we have to speak up. That's why we have to stop following black legislators, black people who are trying to lead you to the Democratic Party. And the Democratic Party is trying to lead you where? Nowhere. They have no agenda for us. Absolutely none. They are okay with our cities being the way they've been, and we have adjusted to it to some degree that we're ready to help the illegal immigrants climb out of it and leave us behind so we can be at the door just waving and waiting on another group of victims to come in for us to take care of and put up on their feet and help in some way, shape, or form. And we are the people who need to be helped the most by us. I don't know by the rest of the parties and the rest of the world and the rest of the demographics and all that, but by us, we deserve our own attention more than anyone does. And if we can lend that to ourselves, we're going to be good. And if we can't, we will stay in this perpetual state of nothingness, of being at the bottom and comparing your lives to other people's lives. And sometimes the only time you get victory is when they do. And it's only because you helped a cause that benefited them. Didn't really benefit you, but you helped, but you didn't get nothing out of it. Ain't y'all tired of that shit? And to sneak into a country and be fast tracked the way these people have been is it's quite a thing, you know. And these young brothers is out here really hustling and trying to get it right. And being led in the wrong direction as often as anyone who has the influence to do it is doing. They're taking advantage of stopping their growth, stunning their dreams, putting them in a position that makes you just, want to just chill all the time. And if you are a young black man, and I would say young, meaning under the age of 70, keep pushing. Get some goals, get some hobbies, get some things going on, and get some education and some understanding. So you don't be so mad when people say things that don't really line up with what you've been told or with what you believe or what you think. You just need to be able to understand that it's just another leaf or another branch on the tree, and it is what it is, and we ain't all going to agree, but we can all move forward together if we get it together and stop helping other people more than we help ourselves. And that's a fair ask. I don't think it's unreasonable to ask a group of people to take care of themselves better than they have been, and damn sure better than anyone else will. We cannot leave that to someone else. Just can't do it. Like, comment, share. Please subscribe, and we see you on the next Black Popcorn.